friends, the Warhipster here, coming at you with another Contrast Plus painting tutorial, and today we are painting the Snarlfang Riders. Yes, this is the first part of the Gitmob that came out, well, a long time ago now. It's not with the Gitmob, but we're doing it now, because we didn't do it back when it came out. So, they've all been primed in grace here, and we're going to be painting these three. We do have an entire unit of 5 to do, but what we're going to do is we're going to keep things nice and simple for the actual Snarlfangs themselves. So what we're going to do is we're going to basically do the same thing across all three, and then we're going to add in some variation with some other colours afterwards. And, well, the first 2 colours we're going to be using, and this is across all 5 of our Snarlfangs, is going to be Agrax Earthshade and Black Templar. And what we're going to do is we're going to start by taking Agrax Earthshade on our brush, and we're just going to apply this over the top of the entirety of the Snarlfang. But what we're going to do, which is why we've got the Black Templar open as well, is we're going to get the Agrax Earthshade all over. We're just going to do this all over the top of this kind of the face and stuff, and the first kind of section, because it is sectioned off nicely by the leather and stuff, and get this all over like so. Make sure to get behind, get under here as well. Watch out for any dark pools. There we go. I'm going to keep going. Just get this over, like I said, the first section. Like this. There we go. Looks good to me. So, once we've done that, I'm going to wash the brush. And then we're going to grab that Black Templar. And we're going to use this to basically add in the wolf pelt pattern type thing. So in this case, what we're going to do is we're just going to layer on the Black Templar like so. And we're going to bring it down kind of like there. Take it over the top of the cheeks as well. We're just going to leave this section there in the middle. We're going to bring it down onto the head just a little bit. Like that. And then we're just going to replicate this on the other side as well. Bringing it down. And then we're going to bring it down here as well. Just leaving a little bit behind. Colouring around the ears. There we go. Perfect. Then what we can do is just wash the brush. And if you need to, if it's too stark a transition, you just go in there without any paint on, or you can grab some Agrax Earthshade and just go in there to just kind of smooth out any transitions that you might have that you don't want, and do the same thing around the head as well, for example, like that. And then we just continue this along the rest of the Snarlfang. So we're just going to grab Agrax Earthshade. We're just going to move on to the rest of the body. And you don't have to do the same pattern across all of your Snarlfangs. You can do whatever you like. You can even reverse it if you like. You can do Black Templar over the top of all the smooth skin, and Agrax Earthshade over the top of the rest of it. The main thing is that these are the 2 that we're going to be using first. And then, once we've got it all done and dry, we're going to add in a little bit of extra tonal variety. So stay tuned. So with that all done, what we're going to do now is we're going to add in that variation, and we're going to keep things really simple. So this is our first one that we did, and the colour we're going to be using is Black Templar. And we're going to be using this just to add a little bit more black. So here on the tail, for example, we're just going to apply the Black Templar like so. I'm going to apply it over the top of the tip of the tail. There we go. Like that. Then we're going to wash the brush. And then we're just going to kind of attack it where it transitions. So we get a blend into a nice darker black at the end of the tail. And then on the top of the head, for example, we're going to basically do the same thing. So we're just going to apply a stripe of the Black Templar like that. Wash the brush. And then we're just going to attack it again. Like that. And then like that. We can go in and add a little bit more, should you please. For example, we could add a little bit down here. Add a little bit back there. And we can add a little bit down here. Just like that. And again, you can just wash the brush. Get rid of the water and then just hit it a little bit just to soften that transition between the colours ever so slightly. And there you go. This is our next Snarlfang. You can see it's still drying at the base of the tail there, but that's okay because what we're going to do here, because we went a little bit heavier on the Black Templar the first time round, instead of Black Templar, what we're going to do is we're going to take Reikland Fleshshade here, and we're going to apply this over top of the kind of lower half of our wolf. So with that one done, then move on to our third. And as you can see on this one, what I did is I just did a little Black Templar strip going up the back. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take a roughly 2 parts Lamia medium to 1 part Gore-Grunta Fur mix, and we're going to apply this over top of the whole thing. So with that done, because the camera kept cutting out, what I also wanted to do is take some Black Templar and just apply it over the top of where we did do the Black Templar before, just to really reinforce that black, like that, but not too much. You just get that nice stripe going all the way down, as you can see. But it's darkened by the Gore-Grunta Fur, so it looks great. So with that all done, here are our 3 Snarlfangs. Now the fur is not finished, we do have 1 highlight to apply to it, but before we do so, we're going to add 1 more colour, which is going to be some Black Legion. And this isn't on fur, this is going to be on, well, everything else. So we're going to be applying this Black Legion over the top of all of the kind of leather stuff that's knocking about And we're going to apply this over the top of the claws and the saddle of our Snarlfangs. So with that all done, what we're now going to do is we're going to dry brush highlight all three all over everything we've already done. So the dry brush we're going to be using is some Karak Stone. We're going to just dry brush this, as mentioned, over the top of everything that we've just done. So over top of the black, the Agrax, the leather, claws. We just don't need to be too forceful with it, and just be quite gentle. So with that Karak Stone dry brush all applied, it's really cool. I think it looks awesome. So we're now going to move on, and we're going to take some Volupus Pink next, and we're going to use this over the top of the inside of their mouths, including the teeth and tongues. With that all done, we're then going to take some Ratling Grime. We're going to apply this over the top of a little saddle cushion. In there, like that. And so with that then done, we're going to take some Skeleton Horde. And we're going to apply this over top of these horns that are being used as stirrups. So with that Skeleton Horde all applied, we're now going to take some Flesh Tearers Red. And we're going to apply this over top of the little ties at the bases of their tails. But we are now going to venture on to the actual grots themselves. So we're going to be using this Flesh Tearers Red to paint in all the similar details to that. So they have some wraps on their legs, on the bows, well, quivers on the backs. They have it on their arms and legs. I think I already said legs. Have it on their spears and things like that. What we're also going to do here is we're going to apply this over top of the shield facings as well as the back of the shields. like that for the front. However, there is one more detail that we're going to quickly talk about, and that's here on the banner. And we have this little design up here, which also needs to be Flesh Tearers red. So with all that Flesh Tearers red applied, we're then going to take some Gore-Grunta Fur, and we're going to apply this over top of their little skirts. I'm just going to pick a place to start here. We're going to start in here. And then work our way around. So with that Gore-Grunta Fur all applied, we're then going to take some Gutrippa Flesh, and we're going to apply this over top of all of their skin. They've got little elbows, hands and knees, and obviously their faces. But don't forget about little hands and knees. So with that all done, we're now going to take some Wyldwood, and we're going to apply this over top of, well, all of the wood. So that's going to be things like spear hafts and the bows. However, what we're also going to do with the Wyldwood is we're going to apply this over the top of the little leather vests. For example, on this guy, you can see it just here. There's also a little bit of fur around the top of their belts. And we're going to apply this over as well. So with that all done, we're now going to take some Black Legion. I'm going to apply this over the top of our remaining leather and clothes. So this is going to be things like any of their little undershirts, their boots, and stuff like that. So with that all done, we're now going to take some Snakebite Leather. I'm going to apply this over top of the arrow fletchings. And so with that all done, we're then going to take some Skeleton Horde. We're going to apply this over top of things like the woven banner, the bones, the grips of the bows, and the horn. And so with that all done, we're now going to take some thinned down Iron Warriors, and we're going to apply this over top of, well, pretty much all of our remaining details. We've only got a couple of little extra bits that are going to be a slightly different metallic after this, and of course we do have the wolf hair on the helmets and things. So for example, this plume here, there's a little bit around the front of the helmet there as well. I'm not going to paint Iron Warriors over the top of those. But for the rest of it we are, because the Iron Warriors will act as our base coat for our next metallic. So with that all done, we're now going to take some thinned down Retributor Armour. I'm going to apply this over top of any little trinkets like this little square or rectangle. We're going to apply this over top of this lightning bolt and the kind of top knot bit, and we're going to apply this over top of the crossguard on the sword. So with that all done, it's time to add some shades. And the first of these is going to be some Biel-Tan Green. We're going to apply this over top of all of the green. And so with that all done, we're then going to take some Nuln Oil. I'm going to apply this over the top of that remaining parts of fur, such as the helmet plume and the bit on the front of the helmet. But we're also going to use this to shade all the silver and the red of the shield. Don't need to do the rest of it, but the red of the shield we do. And so with that all done, we then take some Reikland Fleshshade. We will use this to shade all of the gold, but what we're also going to do is we're going to apply this over top of the woven banner up here. And we will also apply this over the top of the horn on our musician. So with that all done, our Snarlfang riders are now at what I would call a Warhipster battle ready, and they're looking pretty cool. However, we're not going to leave them there, of course not. We're going to take them to the next level. And we're going to do this by adding some highlights. And there's actually not that many to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by taking some thinned down Screaming Skull. I'm going to use this to pick out the teeth of our Snarlfangs, like so. Like that. We're going to use this to highlight the stirrups. Like that sort of thing. And we're also going to use this to highlight the teeth of the riders themselves, but one thing we are going to do in addition is we're going to use this to highlight, well, colour in the eyes of our Snarlfangs. And so with that Screaming Skull all applied, we then want to take a tiny little dot of Evil Sunz Scarlet. I'm going to use this to pick out the eyes of our riders. So with that all done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Skarsnik Green. I'm going to use this to highlight the goblin's skin. So with that all done, we're now going to take some thinned down Squig Orange. I'm going to use this to highlight all of our red. With all that Squig Orange applied, we then want to take some thinned down Dawnstone. I'm going to use this to highlight the black details on the riders, because we've already done the stuff that's on the actual Snarlfangs. So with that all done, we're now going to finish off the models by taking some thinned down Ironbreaker. We're going to use this to highlight all of our metallics, including the gold. But one thing to point out here is that what we're going to do with this Ironbreaker, not these Ironbreakers, is there's all these spikes and nails and belts and things on the black of the saddle. We're also just going to apply it over top of that, like this sort of thing. So with their bases now complete in the same style as the rest of the Gitmob, our Snarlfang riders are finally done. Like 2 years late or something like that, but it does help us round out the Gitmob, or at least the stuff that we have available for now for the Gitmob, so that's really cool. I'm pretty close to getting a spearhead done as well. We'll have to figure out when I'm going to find the time to do that. Project Spearhead is alive and well after all in 2025, I promise.
If you enjoyed this video, you love the channel and you'd like to support me further, you absolutely can do so by heading to patreon.com/warhipster. Just like all of these wonderful, amazing people have done. And alternatively, you could become a YouTube channel member by clicking on the join button below, exactly like these fabulous folks have done, scrolling up on the screen before you. There are so many of you out there that it really takes my breath away, and I cannot thank you enough for everything you do, as without you I wouldn't be able to keep making these Contrast Plus videos. And if you really like this video and you want to send me a little thanks, just click on the thanks button just below this video. Don't forget to share it, like it, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and to make sure you stay up to date, don't forget to click the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Happy wargaming.